Right, so previously on this channel, we have spoke about many events that seem to be competing to see who can actually put on the worst event possible. We've had the Willy Wonka experience, we've had the Bridgerton Ball, and now we have a new contender. Now this event in particular is an event put on by Archer Fantasy Events, and as we can see by their description on their Instagram account, it says, Bookish Events in Baltimore, Maryland. So this is a book festival. It's in a convention center. There'll obviously be a bunch of tables laid out where a bunch of authors can be selling their books, also signing books and whatnot, meeting people who enjoy their books. And then obviously people will buy tickets to attend the event so they can meet these authors, meet other people who have a similar interest to them, you know, meet new friends, just have a good time. Now looking at one of the posts on his Instagram, we can see how this event was actually promoted, right? So it's called A Million Lives, that's the festival name. Discover a world of books, meet your favorite authors, and grow your bookish community. Whether you're a bookworm, a book dragon, or simply looking for a fun event, this festival is perfect for everyone. Explore a vendor hall with authors from a wide range of genres, from fantasy and romance to mystery and dark romance. Engage with other book lovers, attend insightful panels, and participate in our content creation room. And don't forget our Lavender Romance Ball. This ball will have dessert, entertainment, dancing, and more. Come dress as your favourite trope and have the time of your life. Now this was being hosted at the Baltimore Convention Center, and looking at the size of these halls that had been rented, these are for like big events, right? Like you would need a lot of people to attend to make it look full. And as we'll see later when we see a lot of the authors' opinions on this event, a lot of them were told that there was going to be over 500 people at this event. Some people claiming that there was supposed to be like 1,000 people. And I think the fact that I'm making a video talking about this, you can probably guess already, that didn't really happen. Now looking at the ticket prices, we can see a few options that you have here, right? So you can either get the page turner ticket, which includes access to the vendor hall, cosplay meetups, and content creation room, only on May 3rd. There's a cloud walker ticket that's $150. It says this ticket includes access to our vendor hall, cosplay meetups, panels, event swag bag, and content creation room on May 2nd and May 3rd. The event swag bag, I'm not really sure what that was supposed to be. Another spoiler, that didn't even happen, so I guess no one really knows what it was supposed to be. And then the most expensive ticket available is $250. It's called Dream Maker, and it says it includes access to the vendor hall, cosplay meetups, panels, event swag bag, and content creation room on May 2nd and May 3rd, and access to our Lavender Romance Ball. Okay, so the big thing here when you're paying $250 is you get to go to this crazy ball. This ball in theory should be so good that it makes the $100 extra compared to the mid-range price seem worth it. Again, you can probably tell by the fact I'm talking about this situation, it doesn't really play out that way. In fact, let's actually take a look at the ball itself, right? So $250 you're paying for this ticket. Of course, you get the other stuff on top of that, but the $100 extra gets you a ticket to this ball. Now, this is a video uploaded by Steph Devourer of Books, who is a fantasy and romance author who uploaded this video. So it starts off with a caption saying, when you're going to a bookish fantasy themed ball, you can see they're all dressed up, and then we get to see what the ball actually looks like. Yeah, so the music is definitely copyrighted in the background, but you can see they're all excited to go to this ball, and this is what you get. It's a very big empty hall with a handful of people inside. I mean, yeah, it doesn't exactly scream $100, does it? In fact, the top comment on this video says, this is hysterical. It's a Detroit Bridgerton event all over again, which was obviously an event we covered before. And to be honest, looking at this video, this actually seems worse. There at least seemed to be a little bit more effort in the Bridgerton Ball. There was a few more decorations here and there. Like, this looks very, very bad. Here's another video uploaded by a TikToker called Caitlin Platt, who uploaded this video, and as we can see by the caption on screen, it says, where were the people? The 500 to 1,000 registered attendees. So there was apparently meant to be 500 to 1,000 people at this event, and clearly there wasn't. I mean, if we just let the video play here. So this is like the event itself, right? So this isn't the ball. This is where you can go and meet like other authors and whatnot. And there's quite a few authors at their tables, but there isn't really many other people, is there? I mean, we can see a bit of a wide shot here, and you can see that this place is not decorated in the slightest, right? Like, any of the decorations here are actually from the authors themselves, I assume, who have actually decorated their own tables. So it seems like the company that put this event on just didn't really put any effort into making this look good and just relied on the authors to make their tables look good, as if that would make up for the fact that the whole room is empty. Here's a video uploaded by Callista Neef author. I'm so sorry I pronounced that wrong, but this was an author that was at the event who actually made a video apologizing to anyone who bought tickets.
If any of my readers came here and you paid $250 for this, I am so sorry. I won't be coming back to any of these events. This is atrocious. This is the ball. This that we're seeing right now.
Oh, so this is the ball. See, I didn't even realize this was the ball because there's not music playing or anything like that. Like this is what people paid so much money for.
This is the ball. It's in the basement of a convention center. That's a concrete floor. My fucking knees hurt.
Yeah, where's the, like, decorations? Like, it's a fucking ball. Like, surely you gotta make it look nice. And I do want to make it very clear as well, from everything that I've heard here, this does not seem like it's the fault of any of the authors here. This is solely on the people who organised the event. In fact, the authors got fucked over too, and seemingly were lied to, and we'll see a big story time from one of the authors in just a second. Because someone who's made quite a few videos talking about this situation is actually Percy J. Fantasy Author on TikTok, who was an author at the event, who has uploaded quite a few videos, like I said. This was the first one that I actually saw, kind of showing that she was, like, excited to go to the ball, and then showing what it was actually like.
To Jurassic Park.
I mean, it actually gets worse the more you watch, doesn't it? Oh yeah, this is the DJ. I saw a lot of people mention this. The DJ is just a Bluetooth speaker. Not even a big speaker, by the way. Like, a tiny little speaker for this massive hall, which, if it did have a lot of people in it, I'm assuming you probably wouldn't be able to hear the speaker, but obviously not many people were there, so you probably could. It just blows my mind, as someone thinks they can put an event like this on, charge people a lot of money, by the way, $250. It's a lot of money for an event, and then just put this little amount of effort into it. And we do actually have a response from the person who put this event on a little bit later on, and it's a response that a lot of people aren't happy with, let me just say that. But first of all, let's actually take a look through some more of Percy J's videos, because she has uploaded a bit of a story time, kind of going through the beginning to the end of this event. So like I mentioned, Percy was an author at this event. She talked about how she put a deposit down about 18 months ago when this was kind of first announced, and she explains why she wanted to go in the first place.
Because this story starts 18 months ago, because that's when we all put our deposits down. So I put down my $150 table fee back in February of 2024. I am not from Baltimore, Maryland. I'm from Texas. Which, yes, besties, I flew out for this. But I got in because a lot of my friends were going too. And I knew a lot of people attending because the creator reached out to a lot of people who were already pretty prominent in the indieverse sphere. And honestly, I was like, the table fee is $150, why not?
So yeah, she wanted to attend this event. You know, a bunch of people that she knew was also attending. She also reached out to sponsor the event and explains what she would get with that sponsor.
You know I brought the receipts, girl. Peep the date. After Christmas of 2024, I reached out to Archer Fantasy Events to sponsor A Million Lives. I ended up picking the highest tier of sponsorship because I'm just like, $250, why not? It's a good deal. So I was supposed to get my logo on the website, an author takeover day in the Facebook group, an author focus day with several posts about me and my books on social media, a medium window or floor decal, where those were supposed to go, I don't know, and my logo on the tote bag.
Okay, so she paid $250 to help promote her work, right? She got promised a lot of things with this $250, and seemingly none of that happened.
But after that email exchange, it's pretty much crickets. I did not, in fact, get my author takeover day in the Facebook group. There was not a single post about me or my books on Archer Management socials. And we also never got confirmation for how many items we needed to bring for the VIP swag bags. I know what you're thinking, Percy, why didn't you say something earlier whenever you knew that this wasn't going to be done? Because at the end of January, I got pregnant with my twins. And I stopped being active on social media for a while just because of the fatigue and the sickness. And frankly, I came into this event thinking, you know what, it's $250. Whatever. It's not worth my peace.
So then we get to the event itself. So Percy says that the authors obviously got there early, got there around 7 a.m. There was no directions of where to actually go. And she says just thanks to security actually helped her out, so she figured out where they had to go. But from the event organizers, apparently there was just no help. Percy then goes to show like the setup of the tables, where they were supposed to be placed, so people knew what table was theirs. Turns out that didn't happen, it all got changed, and no one really knew where they're supposed to go.
So this was the original author, vendor, narrator setup. I was number 2 over here. All my friends and other authors and vendors that I knew were also on the same row with me, so I was so jazzed to be with my friends. Put a pin in that, we'll get back to that later. Yeah, but when we got into the convention center, this was not the setup. Some of you who may have been to conventions before see this setup and go, hold up, I don't know if that's gonna fly with fire code. And guess what? This wasn't gonna fly with fire code. So this was all completely different. Instead of having 2 big rows and then a bunch of like other rows like this, it was all just up and down horizontal. which completely messed up everybody's table setup. No one knew where they were going. It was absolute chaos.
But eventually they got set up and attendees were starting to arrive at the event. Now, on the first day, this was like a VIP only ticket, so there was supposed to be less people anyways, but even then, there was only around 30 people that attended on the first day.
So the vendor hall opened at 10 a.m. and the attendees started rolling in. But keep in mind, this is Friday, so this is a VIP only event. So only the people who paid for either the Cloud Walker or the Dream Walkers could come to this event. Y'all, there were maybe 30 people.
Yeah, I mean, 30 people in that massive hall, you can imagine how little that actually seems. And that's considering all 30 people are in the same room at the exact same time, which probably never really happened. Percy then goes on to talk about a bunch more problems that happened on this day.
But also, here's the tea. The event hall wasn't locked for lunch break. People didn't want to abandon their tables if people were still there. Also, we didn't have badges. The badges broke. The VIP ticket holders didn't have swag bags. The swag bags were thrown away by the convention center. When you registered with a wristband. For both authors and attendees, they had the same wristbands. Some of them, not everybody had a wristband. I didn't. And the people who donated items for the swag bags, yeah, they were just told those were thrown away.
Yeah, so I have no idea what the swag bags are supposed to be, but they weren't included in the cheapest ticket, right? So you're paying extra, and this is one of the bonuses you get for paying extra, and that just didn't happen. Apparently the stuff that's supposed to be in the bags was just thrown away for some reason. We also get to see the entrance for this event, which is literally just this table and this small little sign that was given to them by the, convention center. It doesn't exactly scream you're about to have the time of your life like they were promoting it on Instagram, does it? If you remember when we looked at the tickets, there was also a content creation room that was being advertised, and we hear a little bit more about that here, and basically, it's just a room.
So the content creation room was open on Friday. I don't have a picture of it, but I'm gonna need you to trust me. You know that infamous picture from DashCon with the ball pit in the empty room? Picture that exactly without the ball pit. I know you're thinking, Percy, do you mean to tell me that this content creation room that was billed as an amenity was just an empty conference room for people just to walk into and stand in? Yes. Yes, I am.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, looking at the other videos, that really doesn't surprise me, unfortunately. And at this point, you can probably imagine, the authors who have brought, a bunch of books into this event, thinking that there's going to be 500 to 1,000 people attending, they're probably panicking at this point, right? Because they brought a lot of books with them that aren't going to be sold. They're going to have to bring them all the way back home, figure out how they're going to manage that. They will be panicking at this point. But the silver lining here was that the first day was a VIP-only day, so maybe the vast majority of people were just going to come the next day. That was the thought process.
So by the end of Friday, we're like, okay, we are all feeling gut punched because only 40 people showed up. We're trying to figure out how we can either cover our table fees or, God forbid, figure out a way to ship all of our extra books home. Because normally you ship books to the event, you don't pack stuff in your suitcase. Not only are we taking a loss on sales not sold, we're gonna have to take a loss on shipping books back. But we all calm down and be like, yo, look, this was just VIP day. We were told there's gonna be 500 tickets sold. Maybe the rest of them are the $50 general admission tickets. So we're just gonna see this huge crowd on Saturday. And then everything's gonna be okay.
Yeah, you can probably tell by the tone of her voice, it doesn't really play out that way. Percy starts off the last part of the story time by saying that there was some improvements the next day, and then makes a joke about the fact that it was just that there was a new sign. I mean, you can see this table in the background. This is kind of like the entrance that we were talking about earlier, with a little sign there. There's now a matching sign here that tells you where to go, which is an improvement because it's directions. We then hear that the content creation room is now closed, even though it was advertised for all of the days. I don't really think people are missing much by the sounds of it, but it is now closed.
But we were told the content creation room was closed due to technical difficulties. So whatever that means aside, if you paid $55 to be here on Saturday, the content creation room that you were promised is no longer a thing.
And then we hear that Percy believes there was around 80 attendees, which is definitely more than the first day, but nowhere near the 500 to 1,000 people that they were promised.
Just as the decorations doubled, so did the attendance. We went from 40 to 80. And like I said, there was no way to actually count because we couldn't tell who was an attendee and who wasn't. But there were other issues from day one that bled into day two. For example, there were mixed messages about this being a family-friendly event or this being an event where the romance authors could offer their, wares. Some people were told they could bring their kids and did. And I'm talking babies, toddlers, middle schoolers. And some authors were told that it's perfectly fine to display their not safe for work spicy art prints. So you got some art with, frankenbeans and tater tots out.
Yeah, I mean, that seems like something you can't really have a miscommunication about. That should be a concrete rule that is told to everybody. Again, it just blows my mind that people believe they can put events like this on, charge a ridiculous amount of money for an event that has little to no organisation in the slightest, and think that this isn't going to happen, where it's going to blow up into this much worse situation and people are going to talk about how awful it was. Like, why are you ruining the reputation of your company just for the sake of running an event that you clearly haven't really put much thought into? Lastly, we hear some more about these panels. So Percy says that she went to the narrator panel, which is obviously one of the panels that was advertised for this event. The problem being is they didn't have any chairs, so the people talking at the panels and the people attending the panel to watch and listen had to sit on the floor.
Then we get to the narrator panel, where you have these lovely, talented professional narrators giving their expertise and knowledge to an audience. But when they got to their panel, there were no chairs. And remember, I said that I'm only going to report on what I saw with my own eyeballs, because I'm at my table hustling my books, and my buddy Jen walks over and says, "You will never guess what's happening upstairs." Your talent was on the floor. Your paying attendees were on the floor.
I mean, look, everything that we have heard about this event clearly shows that it was a big old mess. I'm trying to think of where it would rank in terms of the events that we spoke about before, like the Willy Wonka event and like the Bridget and Ball and then this. Which one really is the worst? I think the positive with this one is that authors did attend, right? So the attendees who actually went to the event could actually maybe see some of their favourite authors and buy some books, and that would be a big positive. But then you've got these same authors being screwed over, quite frankly, and then also like this ball that was a mess, this content creation room that was a mess, the rest of the event just being a mess. Like, at least at the Willy Wonka experience, there were some decorations put up. They were just really bad, but at least there was some effort. I don't know, look, the event is pretty awful, right? So clearly it needed a response from the people who actually put the event on, and they have responded and apologised. Specifically in a 16-second video. And this is the video.
Hi everybody, I am wanting to issue a formal apology. I do understand that the ball tonight was not set up to standards. There were a lot of issues with getting set up and it was not set up well. I want to apologize. If you would like a refund, please contact me and I will issue a refund immediately. Thank you.
Okay, so the refund thing, first of all, is good. I hope that is true. Now, the one thing I'm a little concerned about is that she is specifically mentioning the ball, right? So I don't know if the refund is going to be for the people who paid the $100 extra for the ball, or is that like a refund for anyone who attended the event? Because clearly we've seen here that it wasn't just the ball that was a problem. It was the full event. In fact, actually, I've just answered one of my own questions here, because looking at the comment section, they have left a comment saying we do apologise and are offering refunds to ball ticket holders. I'm growing a team and we are working to make sure this does not happen again at any of our future events. So it is specifically refunds for people who had the ball tickets. So I don't know if that just means the $100 extra or the full ticket. Looking at the comments of this video, we got comments like this one saying, "I wish you hadn't told me you sold over 500 tickets. You should have told me you only sold 50. We spent so much money and lost time with our kids." Another comment here saying, "In our correspondence, you told me you expected 1,200 attendees. Otherwise, I wouldn't have paid the table fee, which I hope you refund. I'm lucky that I backed out since I suspected the attendance would be lower, but I didn't even realize how it would all turn out. I feel sorry for the attending authors and the vendors who invested in this." 1,200 attendees compared to the amount of people that actually did show up is mental. Like, where are these numbers coming from? Because they all seem different as well. So were these numbers just being made up as they went along, depending on who they were talking to? Another comment here saying, "Sounds like you should be refunding all the authors who paid for a table at this event." And yeah, I mean, that does seem like that should happen. And then finally, we got a comment here saying, "From what I'm seeing on socials, it wasn't just the ball that was the issue. You boasted over 600 attendees, so authors and vendors shelled out hundreds of dollars to be there, and then you had less than 50 actual attendees. So all those authors and vendors lost out on a lot of money. This reeks of bait and switch." Yeah, look, I think it's clear as day that this event was bad and it wasn't organised well at all, and I feel sorry for the people who attended. I feel sorry for the authors. I feel sorry for everyone, quite frankly, who was a part of this event and didn't know like how much of a disaster it was going to be. I would love to know your thoughts in the comment section down below of what you think's happened to you, what you think should happen now after seeing how the event played out. And yeah, just let me know all your thoughts in the comment section down below, and I'm gonna leave it there. So if you did enjoy, leave a like, subscribe, all that stuff. Also, if you're interested in some other content, me and Emily have a channel where we play games, react to reality shows. We're about to upload the finale of the Murder Mystery series within like a couple of days, so if you're interested in that, then the link's in the description down below. And until the next one, I'll see you guys in a bit. Alright, goodbye.